All
So
right,
where do we
Steve.
start?
I
No,
mean,
what's the name of the episode? You said it was the tragedy,
It's the
and
tragedy.
it's
I
up
think
up for debate, like what the tragedy is.
And I think we come back to that at the end of this conversation to debate what we really think it is. And I've already floated my theory, Razor Crest. That's going to be my top contender for the tragedy of this episode.
I will throw another one out there.
Okay.
His lack of ability to like understand that, like, if you see a blue like force field type thing and it knocks you back 20 yards once, little guy's probably safe. Okay, right then. Go ahead and
keep it safe.
So the tragedy might be his lack of ability to comprehend that when you see like this flowing energy around someone sitting on a stone, that is not the time to be like, I'm gonna just go and like I'm running through the line of the football line here, and I'm gonna try to dive at the child. Each time, just repelled back. So maybe his lack of ability to comprehend that there's the force there.
There are multiple things said by Mando and circumstances in this episode that lead me to believe that he is emotionally compromised and therefore not mentally on point, and his guard is way down in some areas that usually he would be right there tracking with, what's happening with, this force, and maybe I shouldn't just try harder, lean into the blue force field, and that somehow isn't going to have a negative repercussion on my bodily well-being. But I think it really starts in the cockpit of the Razor Crest, in this interaction that we have between Grogu and Mando with the ball. I mean, the episode really, it begins with that little shifter ball and it ends with the little shifter ball in some ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's this constant. And they have this moment of levity. And I use that tongue in cheek with the ball and the force there. But I think we should just start at the top, Steve.
Okay. So at the top, the things that I remember from the recap, they do a little foreshadowing from season 1, where who is it that we see on the ground? Oh, it's the sniper, that there was a puck that he was trying to help another youngster get his.
Shand.
Yeah.
Or Shard or Shrand. I can't remember.
So it's interesting. So foreshadowing back that, you've created this great character, which we all should have known. She was a mainstay in, I want to say, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for years on there. She's a great character actor, and seeing her come back and not knowing who's picking her up out of the desert, other than now we know it's our friend Boba.
Oh yeah,
Boba
props
unplugged. Boba unmasked.
Boba on Beskar.
Yeah, on Beskar, right. And apparently Boba is a bit of a tinkerer, we find out later in the episode. I thought that maybe we make sure that we touch on, there's some absolutely fantastic correlations of people grasping the life, the indebtedness, the attitude of gratitude, the understanding of that they bring nothing, and that they're nursed back to what they are because of the goodwill of Boba. But so they have I digress, but back to the scenes in the cockpit where you've got Mando interacting, and Mando seems like incredibly impressed with his ability to pronounce Grogu's name, and then Grogu like, what? Each time, like, and he goes, what? Like let's follow it up there. Yeah, exactly.
He purrs kind of like my cats a little bit. He purrs.
Uh-huh.
Did you pick up on that?
Have you? Okay, so then let me ask this.
Like guttural kind of just sound of, I'm really enjoying myself as he's like working this little ball like he's solving a Rubik's Cube,
Yeah. they head to the planet, and it's beautiful how it's laid out, as like he's kind of Captain Obvious. When they show that, whoa, that must be it. It's a mountaintop, and there's like all these like stone structure, laser beam type targeting things, and there's a stone on top of it. I take it that must be where we need to go. And then he has this cool moment where he says, well, we can't land there. It's too small, which thank goodness that would have led to issues during the episode if he would have parked up at the top of the temple. It also assume, even in that day, I would assume there's some sort of respect level of like temple parking is over here. This is a flyover zone, like respect your,
I mean,
your elders.
Contextually, we live in a setting where you can actually access temple parking, and they have quite a bit of it. You know, we have a couple temples in our area from different kind of faith backgrounds, and there normally is parking at the temple. I can see why Mando is a little bit confused, and I love the phrase, I guess we're going to have to go the rest of the way with the windows down, because it almost is like we're in a 1950s or 60s movie now, and some, you know, like sporty looking big hulk of metal, you know, Chevy, and we got it, you know, and all of a sudden it's jetpack kicks, hair.
Which, you know, the other thing is that like they fully established that he's got his jetpack, which once again, jetpacks are going to be his downfall. Like later on, it might like suit him to hold on to his jetpack.
Why? Why did he put that down? Whoa! Hey, Steve, careful with your wrist rockets. There, you're holding them up in front of the screen, and okay, I'm not.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't point them at me. I got a little frightened. I didn't realize that your shirt also had wrist rockets on it, and I'm even more #jelly right now.
Yeah, that's where they come from, right there.
There's whistling birds on Boba Fett's armor?
Well, at least it looks like they could be loaded there. Yeah. Yeah. On this other side, I'm not sure. I'm assuming this other side might be either that or one of those rockets that Stormtrooper takes right in the chest.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive.
Oh, okay. We got to break down that a little bit. But jetpack, there's this moment where he sets it down. I don't understand. I mean, I'm getting a little bit ahead of us here, but I don't understand that. Can we talk about that yet, or do we need to work up to it?
I think we have to work up to it. So okay. They fly up. They're up at the top. Nothing's happening. Looks like, hey, this is a nice polished stone. They start to establish it looks like, yeah, this probably could be the sorting hat of sorts, or the seeing stone, or
in the Jedi Stonehenge. My third time through the episode, I really appreciated the simple structural support that they had with, let's put a stone here and then get a big one and just lay it against it. That's a good right angle right there. That's probably gonna stay there for millennia. It's gonna be fine. Many Jedi will come and rest upon the sitting stone.
Yep. And then he's sitting there and like nothing's happening. You know, the other thing I've noticed that Mando, he really doesn't have a lot of patience. This is truly, it's clear that he is not like have any siblings, nor has he had any kids.
Okay, but hold on. This is definitely one of the things I noticed from this episode was his lack of patience. Like he's trying to, like he's like, okay, let's find a parking spot. Okay, let's get up there. Okay, let's stick you on the rock. Grogu's on the rock for like 0.5 seconds, and he's like, okay, we're the Jedi. How long is this going to take? We got places to go, you know. All of a sudden, he becomes impatient, it felt like to me, because in the episodes leading up to this, in this season, in the previous season, he is the slowest, smoothest guy in the room who's not rushing anything. He's not rushing after his bounty. He's just not rushing into anything. He's assessing. He's acting when necessary. He takes his time. He's deliberate. But all of a sudden, we just need to get through this Jedi sorting scene rock thing and just get it over with. How long is this going to take? I didn't understand that. It felt inconsistent to me.
Well, and also one of the criticism that I've seen online is that the episode was too short. And maybe it was that like
33 minutes. Oh.
They should have told him that he needs to take a chill pill, and it's okay if we had another 10 minutes of this episode. But they're either way, we're not in charge of that.
Well, you know what he would have done? He would have kept trying to run into the force field for those 10 minutes, and everybody would have got sick of it. They probably cut a lot of that out, actually.
They may have edited that out, him running into the force field and getting knocked back. In fact, I would assume if there is any intergalactic like concussion protocol, he should be in it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like someone should be checking out his noggin.
He's on the DL. I mean, he may not be in the next episode based upon the protocol. That's frightening.
Yeah. So then Grogu gets up on the stone, fits just fantastic, and he has a moment there with the butterfly. And I guess.
Did you think he was going to eat it? I thought he was going to eat it.
Oh yeah. We're actually lucky that Grogu does not have like a frog-like tongue, because that butterfly would have been consumed pretty quickly.
Totally imagine that happening. Yeah. Like ability revealed, physical ability of Grogu we did not see coming. And there were other butterflies in the background, so there was an ample like snack source there, and it's blue, and we know he likes blue snacks, and so I didn't know. I felt like it was this tender moment where he was reaching out through the shared, force, mitochondrian type vibes. And then all of a sudden it was going to be one of these, snatch and grab snacks. Yeah. And no, it was just a tender moment. And I don't know if I'm happy about that or disappointed.
Well, previously, when we thought there would be tender moments where he's touching like a jar of frog eggs, things have definitely taken a left turn there before. So I'm glad I'm glad he didn't consume the butterfly. So things start to finally happen and start moving along as Mando's been demanding for things to happen. I don't know what he thought, that there was going to be a concierge there that was just going to like start sending out a bunch of like start making phone calls. Hey, Mace Windu, are you available? We've got a Jedi that needs to be trained. Oh, hey, Luke Skywalker, have you set up your training temple yet? Are you taking students? Can we enroll someone? We've got a force wielder here. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there some other okay, Kanan, no, Kanan, you're on the other side. Okay, what about Ezra? Is there an Ezra out there? Is there some way that we can contact one of these Jedis? We need child pickup here. I'm not sure exactly. I'm assuming you remember back in the day when you would be sitting in church services and they would put a number up at the front of the church, and you would know that somebody in preschool needed to attend to their kid. I'm not sure if he felt like that's what was going to happen when he set Grogu down on the stone, or what his expectations were, that someone was going to get out of stand up in the congregation of Jedis scattered amongst the outer rim and come and pick Grogu up right away.
I like your reference to Mace. I mean, he's dead though, right? But
we don't know that. He have you not been
because he fell out, but we don't know that he died.
Well, here's the theory out there that if the Emperor can fall into the reactor of the second Death Star, or at least part of him was still around and salvageable, why couldn't Mace do a force jump? Because he got thrown out a window, so it's still
okay. I like that. I mean, as the purple saber Jedi, he was always one of my faves, and besides Sam Jackson, I mean, and also let's go Shield all over again with that. Nick Fury, right? But this episode would have got super awkward if Windu would have showed up, having been the killer of Boba's father. I would have liked that would have been a level of awkwardness that would have overshadowed The Office every single day of the week.
Which gives us a potential that maybe he's down the road. That's the type of awkwardness that I think they would want after I'm getting ahead of ourselves, but after Grogu is potentially rescued, I could see there being some awkwardness in who they eventually are passing.
We got to get there, man. We got to get to these parts.
And we're not making much progress. Okay, so which comes first? We see Slave One come in the background, right?
Yep. I'm just looking at it right now. Sorry, I've got the episode playing in the background while we're talking.
Okay.
So that just.
And once again, our goal is always to talk longer than the episode lasts. So that will be no problem. This episode.
I mean, we're there already right now. Pre Facebook Live, but yeah.
Okay.
So Slave One
comes into the scene, and those that are in the know are like, "Oh, hey, I recognize that ship. That ship belongs to only one person we know, and I hope he brought his gaffy stick and his funky Tuscan rifle, because he's ready to rumble." The only problem is Mando is the only one there to rumble with, and you're not quite sure like what he's after.
Right. Steve, I'm sorry, dude. Hold on a second, okay?
Okay.
I'm stopping live stream. That's what the proper response is. Let me get back on the live Facebook.
Is anyone watching?
No, I stopped it. Oh, is
no,
it?
But
we have 27 views.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. I can't tell while we're watching. It shows if there's somebody live.
Mm-hmm. If they're live, you know what? We'll have them raise their hand. I just raised my hand.
On Facebook Live?
No, I didn't. Not on Facebook Live. I didn't raise my hand on Facebook Live. Maybe Rosalind's watching on Facebook Live.
She is probably not. Season 2, episode 6, chapter 14.
Yeah, they didn't.
Hold on a second.
It was not landed very long.
Hold on. We're not there yet. Or were you just talking? Or were you like giving content?
Oh, I've got it playing on my phone. I'm just realizing how little amount of time they were landed before Slave One starts to show up. Like they're not up at the, as he called it, the magic rock.
Right. Right. Okay. Setting up your Facebook meeting. All right, dude. We should be good.
Okay, yeah. So I'm like looking at it again. They're not there up at the, as Mando says, the magic rock for very long before Slave One starts rolling in. And it was very interesting. Like you see there in the episode, they're showing a figure coming off of Slave One. And you have, you want to believe that it's Boba Fett, but you're not sure.
Well, it could have been a Jedi. It had that Jedi robish kind of look to it, but because it's Boba Fett's ship, I'm assuming there's like some type of sinister character slinking from its bowels. Maybe a little bit too soon for me, but still, I threw in the reference. And so I thought, oh, maybe this is a Sith. Maybe a Sith has shown up and Grogu has reached out in the Force or just connected with the Force and it shot off this antenna signal and all of a sudden it's just way too quick for a Jedi to show up out of the blue. But I thought maybe this is immediate gratification. Nothing about the series has been immediate gratification within the quest at the very least.
Well, and the way they have him walk up first after Mando's just gotten shot at, out with the sun to his back, you have who we learn later is Boba Fett walk up, but he is cloaked in the very same way with the hood on, just as we saw a figure years ago, Obi-Wan coming out. You know, the only thing that he's not doing is growling like a crate dragon to get the sand people to run away right now.
But he is emerging from the desert, and the very same desert that Obi-Wan had been in hiding within. That's very interesting connection.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. Like, it does look like he's sourcing his robes from the locals there. If you can,
all about sustainability.
Yeah, if you can support local businesses, it seems like the thing to do. And then the hood reveal, where he pulls his hood back, and he said, I've come for the armor. And he's like, this is my armor. What are you talking about? And then he starts dropping the knowledge about Cobb Vanth. And isn't it interesting, like when you finally see the armor on Boba Fett, how it fits right versus how it just hung?
Okay, not yet, Steve. Not yet.
Okay.
Let me back up to the robe reveal and Boba's face. Like we know this from that one episode where he turns and we see him, like that this is obviously a clone that's older and grown, and he's on Tatooine and he's connected to the story. Could this be Boba Fett? It has to be Boba Fett, and now we know that it is. His face shows us what it looks like to survive the Sarlacc pit at least once, maybe twice, according to lore.
Some scorched, acid popped. Yeah. The guy needs.
There's some tender strips right there, you know.
Oh, I'm not sure if Proactive is in their galaxy, but I mean, he would be an ideal spokesperson.
Listen, as a pharmacist, what would you recommend for a topical to treat that type of injury?
Oh man,
unofficially. I mean, you're not on the clock right now. I'm just saying, from your experience, what comes to mind?
Well, I'd go back to sunscreen. We're seeing a lot of these guys on these double sunned planets not wearing sunscreen.
Which is probably
that's an interesting thing. You know, I don't know that that Boba cares about his face regimen and like how he treats his skin so much. I think he's beyond that. He's just definitely that. He's going for that lone wolf. If anything, there's more of an intimidation factor.
Yeah.
Like, I've earned these scars. Okay.
You know, can I just add a little personal experience story here with burn topical cream? A few years back, I was doing some hiking out in the Owahis, and I was next to a stream, and I kind of brushed up against some stuff, and it was that time of year when poison ivy and poison oak is kind of out and about and trying to get you. And I developed a rash on my arm. I went on a weekend trip to Spokane that weekend and developed a rash on my arm, and I thought it was just like a hive. I was speaking that weekend, and sometimes I get hives when I get excited and I'm speaking and I'm talking about stuff and just the nerves with it. And come to find out, I went to the doctor, and it was poison. It was poison ivy.
Oak?
It might have been oak. I can't remember. It was one of the two. They asked me if I'd been out to Jump Creek, and I said no, but I was in the Owahis and I was along some water, and they're like, yeah, that's probably where you picked it up at. Anyway, they prescribed something, and this is where I'm getting to Boba Fett's face, okay, just so we know that this is circling back here. They prescribed something that when I was working and my wife had to go pick it up. When she went to go pick it up, the pharmacist said, is the person receiving this suffering from burns? And my wife said, no. And they said, oh, this is usually a topical cream, steroid cream that we give for people that have burn injuries that are pretty severe to help heal them. And my wife came home and I still have this stuff. It's expired, and I know that's probably horrible, but I figure if I get poison ivy again, I can start with that as a supplement before I get my script filled. You know, this is my layman's thinking. At least as a placebo, it might have some type of effect, right?
I appreciate that your idea is not to avoid acquiring or crossing paths with it again. It's just that you're going to. I'm
going hiking again, and it's gonna be there. It's gonna happen. But I'm just thinking, you know, if I was in proximity to Boba, I could be like, hey, do you want to try some of my expired poison oak topical because it's for burn victims, and you look like you may be a burn victim of like stomach acid from the Sarlacc pit if I'm not reading the pockmarks incorrectly on your facial region.
Yeah, could be. Of course, I don't know if you meet Boba, I hope that that's not the first thing that you lay into.
No.
I also would assume that like if we were all to get to meet Boba before we know it, he would have like one of those makeovers done on him because he would be on some reality show, you know, where they're like, you know, they've got like Darth Maul, they've got Boba, they have maybe some Ewoks, and they all live in like a house where they vote each other out or something.
Well, what about a cameo on Dog the Bounty Hunter? I mean, that could be kind of cool. Yeah,
that'd be cool too.
Something like that.